All right. I'm excited about this one. So Breath of the Wild 2 hopefully is coming at the end of this year. The way things are lining up with this report from Bloomberg we got last week saying that the Switch Pro or whatever they're calling it is probably gonna be here by the end of 2021. My bet is Breath of the Wild will be right alongside of it. Now, as great as Breath of the Wild was, we all know it was missing some things. One of those being traditional Zelda items like the hook shot, Pegasus boots, you know, the list goes on. But the one thing I think we can all agree on is the thing Breath of the Wild was missing the most was definitely dungeons. And yes, we had the Divine Beasts, they were fine, but I'm talking about real Zelda dungeons. Now I am very, very hopeful that Breath of the Wild 2 will bring back the dungeons. I think they're going to. If they don't, I think that's a huge, huge miss for Nintendo and the Zelda team. Everybody wants dungeons back. But for the sake of this video, we're just gonna say yes, dungeons are coming back. And I'm gonna try to tell you where those dungeons will be, why those dungeons will be there, and we're gonna go ahead and just take a leap, and I'm gonna try to figure out what order these dungeons will be in. What's up, guys? Welcome back or welcome in for the first time. If you are new here, do me a favor, go down in the description of this video and click the link to our Discord. We're in there every day talking about all kinds of things, mostly Zelda, so we'll see you in there after this video. Okay, quickly, I said this in a previous video that I was gonna talk about this, and we're gonna do it really quick. I'm gonna make a full video on this thing very soon, but I did want to shout out and thank Quality Arcades for sending over that beast. If you're in the market for a quality arcade cabinet, you need to look at Quality Arcades. They've got a website, they've got an Etsy. I'm gonna link both of them in the description, but this thing is absolutely amazing. It came wrapped in this old school NES, like, it kind of looks like an old NES console, and it literally came out of the box ready to go, just like that. I plugged it in and started playing. It's got the speakers, the amp, the TV, the Raspberry Pis back there. Everything is in there nice and neat. It's put together extremely, extremely well. And again, the biggest thing is it comes all put together. So like I said, I'm gonna make a full video on this thing, but if you are in the market for a very nice arcade machine at a pretty good price, check out Quality Arcades. I will leave the link in the description below. All right, so to put this all out there, let's make sure we're all on the same page here. I just want you guys to know I am already aware that I am probably very wrong about all of this. This is all just for fun. So if you're not interested in having fun, you might as well just leave now. Now, another thing I want to go over really quickly is I did say I was going to put these in order. And obviously, I'm aware in the last Zelda game, there was no order. And there probably won't be much of an order in the new Zelda game. But for the sake of the story I'm kind of building in this video, we're going to do them in a certain order. So I went with 8, possibly 9. If you count one of these as a dungeon, which it could go either way. I guess it kind of is. I guess it depends on what's in it. But I figured that's kind of the sweet spot for dungeons in Zelda. 8 to 9 seems like a good Zelda game to me. All right, so we're gonna pick up right where we left off in the first game. Zelda and Link were heading to Zora's domain. They were having some trouble with their Divine Beast. I mean, if that's not a perfect setup, I don't know what is. And this right here is where the tutorial or the introduction part of the game is gonna start. Zelda is gonna be leaving, obviously, to go back to Hyrule Castle to get her haircut. And you will be heading to Zora's domain, but on the way, that is where you'll be learning whatever new mechanics we need to know about this game. From the point you start till you get there, that will be your tutorial. Obviously, that's a guess, but I feel like if this is the way it goes, that would be a nice little area where you'd be by yourself. You'd be able to learn everything you needed to learn. Take care of it there before you get there, you know, easy peasy. So when you get to Zora's domain, you are gonna find out that there is some malice left in the Divine Beast. You're gonna clean all that up. You're gonna get that fixed, but then you're gonna talk to some people around Zora's domain, and you're gonna find out that there's a bunch more coming from an area behind Zora's domain, a cavern. I think you can see where I'm going with this. So that is actually going to be your first dungeon. It will be at Zora's domain. I'm not sure exactly where. A cavern somewhere, probably, you know, maybe in the mountains behind Zora's domain. I feel like that would be a good area to go, you know, up a little bit and be able to come down into the mountains. So, you know, this is the point where you're gonna find out, okay, yes, we took care of Calamity Ganon, but this whole malice thing and the stuff that's left over, we're still having issues with. So I guess we're gonna have to go clean some of that up. So you'll go down there, you know, you'll do your dungeon. We're not gonna get into the specifics of the dungeons in this video. I feel like that's probably too much. We're gonna cover a whole lot here, but I think I'm gonna make some separate videos on that type of stuff if you guys wanna see that. So let me know in the comments if you wanna see something like that too. Anyway, so you're down there, you get the stuff done, you find out, okay, we're gonna have to clean up some more stuff. So then, as you're leaving there, you're going to be obviously doing other things in the game. There's gonna be other things going on, and you're gonna come across a Goron. The Goron is gonna tell you that they have also found this same issue in a cavern under Death Mountain, which is going to be your second dungeon. Yes, we're gonna be going from Zora's Domain to Death Mountain. We're going old school here. So we'll keep this one basically short, you know, same song and dance. You know, you're going down there, you're gonna kill a boss, you're gonna take care of the malice. You're still just cleaning this stuff up, still just kind of getting into the story a little bit. At this point, you know, there's probably some little tidbits of things to come. Again, we're not getting that deep in this one. Okay, so at this point, you're leaving Death Mountain. You've gone, you've done some other things, and now you've run into some Koroks, and they're telling you that the Deku tree is dying. Something is going on, and you need to come to the forest right now. So that's where you're headed. You go down there, you talk to the Deku tree, you find out he is having the same problem with the malice underneath him in his roots. Do you see where I'm going with this? Everything is underground. So he tells you you need to take the secret entrance back somewhere, go underneath the tree, take care of this problem before it's too late, before it kills him. Now, while we are talking to the Deku tree, he reveals that the reason that this malice keeps coming back and that there's still issues with this stuff is because the body of Ganondorf is sealed underneath the castle. See where we're going here? So at this point, he tells you a little bit about that. He's sealed under the castle. He tells you how to get there, but there's more to the story. No time for that yet. You need to go down, fix what's going on under the tree. So, long story short, Link goes under, fixes what's going on under the tree. Too late. The Deku tree dies. So you don't get the rest of the story. So this right here is what we pick up with the trailer for Breath of the Wild 2. At this point, you have learned that Ganondorf is underneath the castle. You know that's the source. So you and Zelda, you know, get your ox ready and you head down underneath the castle. You know what happens in the trailer. Ganon breaks the seal. Link gets some green stuff on his hand, which I'm gonna go ahead and say is some type of Zonai magic. We've been hearing a lot about that, and for this particular story, that's where we're going with it. I think that's also where he's gonna get some of the items that we might get back in the game. You know, some of the permanent stuff, a hook shot, maybe the ability to swim underwater. I don't know, we'll see. Again, that's for another video. But after the castle raises up, now, we're gonna just go ahead and say that's where Ganondorf is. He's there. He's in the castle in the sky. We can't get there right now. So obviously, as you can see what I'm doing here, I'm going with a pretty old school Zelda formula. 3 dungeons, you know, something happens and we move on to the rest. Now, as the castle has raised up off the ground, it's caused an earthquake. Things have changed around the area. And we'll notice that as we go to our next dungeons, and we'll talk about it as we get there. So now Link has this new power. He doesn't know what it is, nobody does, but you have to go find someone who can tell you a little bit about this. So at this point, you gotta find somebody who knows what's going on with Link's hand. Obviously, the best place to go is to one of the research labs. You can talk to Robbie about this. I'm sure he probably knows. So that's where you head next. Not a dungeon, but that is where you're gonna find out where you need to go. And that, obviously, is to the Zonai ruins in the Faron region. So you're gonna head down there. Obviously, things have moved around. There's been an earthquake. You start talking to some people in the area and they let you know that an entrance to an old Zonai temple has opened. It's risen from the ground. It wasn't there before, but when the earth shook, that opened up. So you're gonna go in there. Obviously, this is where you're gonna start to learn a little bit about your new powers. You're gonna start, whatever the new mechanics are, this is going to be the tutorial dungeon for that. You'll probably learn a little bit more here about what you saw down in the cave, why the hand was holding the body down, the malice that was coming. You're gonna learn a lot about that type of stuff here. This is also where you're going to find out that you need to get certain information. Not sure what this is, but there's certain information you need to be able to find something to lead you to Ganondorf. And in some way or another, you are going to hear the story of the lake bed temple under Lake Hylia. That's right, the water temple is back. God help us all. So sticking with the theme that we've said here, let's just say, you know, let's just say the bridge over Lake Hylia has collapsed, and maybe that's how you actually get down there, and once you get to the bottom, you can see the entrance, and with your new powers, you can swim down there and go in. Now, I don't even wanna know what's gonna be inside this thing, so we're not even gonna get into to those details. I don't even wanna know what another water temple would look like in Zelda at this point. So anyway, after getting lost in this temple for 4, 5, 6 hours, you finally go through it, beat the boss, you get what you need. It's some scroll or something that tells you it's time to head to the Gerudo Desert and you need to go to the 7 statues. I cannot remember what they're called right now. I'll put it up on screen, but the 7 statues in the Gerudo Desert. There's something there that you need to find. A key, a spell, something. We don't know exactly what it is, but this is not where the temple will be. The temple will actually be the 8th statue that has been moved from the circle way up in the mountains. That will be our next dungeon. But while we are down at the other 7, we will learn the story of why that one was moved up there. And it was to block a door to some type of evil temple where all this malice stuff started. And the spell or the key or whatever you got down there is going to open that door. And that door was not exposed before, because like I said, the statue was in front of it. But with the earthquake, the statue has crumbled, the door's exposed, you now have the key and or spell, whatever you need to open the door and go in to the temple. So now you are in the Malice Temple. Now after the Water Temple, you think this is gonna be easy, but no, this is where it ramps up and gets insane. I think a Malice Temple would be very cool. Now in this temple, we are gonna find out a lot of stuff that went down with all this stuff. Maybe we find out how Ganon and this Malice became, you know, doing what they did. How we got Calamity Ganon and all the stuff that just spread all over Hyrule. Maybe that's where we get a little bit of this backstory, but what we are going to find out is at least this much. How this all started and how he is controlling this stuff. He got that power from something he had during his attempted execution at the Arbiter's grounds way out in the Gerudo Desert. He had something on him. It was I don't know, a stone, whatever it was, something. But during the attempted execution of Ganondorf, it was dropped, it was lost. It's still there. And as we know, the Arbiter's grounds in Breath of the Wild is there, but it's not. So here's my hope. Again, back to the earthquake. Things have changed. My hope is that the Arbiter's grounds we saw in Twilight Princess is actually deep under the sand. Just completely covered up by the sand over, you know, thousands of years of sandstorms and this and that we see this giant structure resurrect from the sand, and you get to go through one of my favorite dungeons again in the Arbiter's grounds, but this time it is absolutely insane. Not that it wasn't in Twilight Princess, because I loved it. Like I said, that's probably one of my favorite dungeons, but this is going to be it. This is where you're going to go get that thing that will control the Malice, which you're gonna be able to fight Ganon now. You're gonna be able to take him on because you have this thing. So from there, obviously, you know, there's gonna be so much stuff in between. You know, we're not going straight from dungeon to dungeon to dungeon. There's gonna be a lot of stuff in between, and I'm sure there's gonna be more stuff that you have to do between these two events, but now, you can get up into the sky. Don't ask me how. Again, another video. So you can now get up into the sky, you can go to the castle, you can fight Ganon. You and your Zonai powered hand beat Ganon along with your Malice Stone. And when he's defeated, the castle falls to the ground, but you have the power with your magic hand and your stone to bring it back down safely. And there you have it. That is what the dungeons will look like in Breath of the Wild 2. Probably not, but you have to admit, that would be cool. That whole idea there, I think that's a pretty good base for a story for a Zelda game, for any game really. I feel like it ties in with the history decent enough. Not just Breath of the Wild either. It ties in with Twilight Princess. I'm sure they could probably throw in stuff from Skyward Sword, which they kind of would need to do. I mean, who knows? Maybe this is the end. Maybe this is the thing that breaks Demise's curse, and maybe this is the last Zelda game where we see a Link and a Ganon, or maybe this is the end of the timeline. Maybe the rest are just inside of these two areas. Who knows? I mean, again, I'm probably dead wrong. But with that, I'm gonna leave this to you guys. I wanna know in the comments below how you feel about my dungeon list, my dungeon order. I'm sure there are holes in my plot. I guarantee there are, because a lot of you people out there know a ton about Zelda, more than me, and I'm sure you're gonna correct me in the comments, but please do, because if I'm wrong, I definitely wanna know about it. But guys, I had an absolute blast making this video, trying to think about these scenarios and trying to piece all this stuff together, and I am definitely going to be making more videos like this. So like I said, that's gonna do it for this one, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, make sure you are subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one.